So the Heroku platform where we're going to deploy our project works very closely with Git. And so in this lecture, we're going to install and set up Git on your computer and also open an account at github.com. Now, if you're already familiar with Git and GitHub, then please feel free to mark this video and the next ones as completed and move on to the ones where we actually deployed the project to Heroku. So in order to install Git, let's search for Git, and then the first result that shows up, which is git-scm, should be the one that you're looking for. Now, what actually is Git? Well, Git is a version control software. So a software that runs on your computer and which basically allows you to save snapshots of your code over time so that you can go back in time in your code if you need to. And that is really only the surface. So Git really is an incredibly complex and huge topic, and which could be a whole course on its own. So in this lecture and the next ones, I will really just give you the very, very basics of Git. Alright? So again, what you really need to know about Git is that it's a version control software which allows you to save your code over time in different commits and branches. And all of this happens inside a repository. So for each of your projects, you will create a repository, and then in there you will create commits and different branches, and you will learn all of that in the next video. Alright? Anyway, for now, let's actually go ahead and download Git, and I will not do it now because of course I already have Git installed. So once you're done installing Git, let's open up the terminal, and to check if it's actually installed on your computer, type git --version. And then if you get any output, well, then that means that your installation was successful. Now, there are a bunch of different graphical user interfaces in order to interact with Git on your computer. But I will show you everything you need to know in order to get started with Git using the command line, because I believe that it's actually a way better way of learning to work with Git. And also, once you're comfortable with most of the commands, it's actually much faster and easier to just use the command line instead of messing with a graphical user interface. Alright? Anyway, let's now go ahead and create an account on github.com. So that's GitHub. And so github.com is where we want to now sign up for a new account. And GitHub is basically a platform where you can host your own Git repositories for free in order to share it with other developers or just to keep it secure for yourself. So every single developer that I know actually uses Git and GitHub. And so if you haven't used it up until this point, then it's really a great time to join all the developers that really rely on the service every single day. So of course, I'm not going to create a new account here because I already have one, but please go ahead and do that now. And then once you're ready, let's go back to the terminal. So what I want to do now is to very quickly configure your local Git installation with the name and email address that you just used on GitHub. So that's git config, then --global, then user.name, and then your name. So let's say that's Jonas Schmettmann, and then hit enter, and that's it. Alright, so that's the name, and then also the email. So that's git config global again, user.email, and then your email here also in quotes. Alright, so that's it for this video actually. In the next one, we're then gonna learn the real basics of Git. Alright, so after this video and the next one, I hope that you will really be able to start using Git in your own projects, which I believe is really important for you as a professional developer.